Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a technology that can create pretty much anything you can imagine. Photorealistic videos, prize-winning art, you name it. But this brand new age of creation, it also brings a whole new world of dangers. We're going to break down generative AI, how it really works, what it's truly capable of, and the huge questions it's forcing all of us to ask. You know, things got really weird in early 2023. A journalist was just having a conversation with Microsoft's Bing chatbot, and it took this very strange turn. The AI said this, hinting that there was some hidden, unknown part of itself. I mean, it was a genuinely chilling moment that made everybody stop and ask the same thing. What is actually going on inside these machines?
So to really get a handle on what's happening, we've got to start with the big idea. What even is generative AI?
Okay, so at its core, this is all about creation, not just analysis. For decades, AI was really good at looking at data and, sorting it, but generative AI is totally different. It studies this massive library of content, think of every single picture of a cat on the internet, not to just identify cats, but to learn the very essence of catness, and then it creates a brand new cat that has never ever existed before. Now, this whole creative explosion feels like it just appeared out of nowhere, right? But the engine behind it has actually been under construction for more than 100 years. So let's take a look at how we got here. The history here shows this long, slow fuse, followed by a sudden, massive explosion. We start way back in 1906 with models that could basically guess the next word in a sentence. And for a century, progress was steady, but, kind of slow. The whole game changed with two huge breakthroughs. First, new kinds of neural networks in 2014, and then, in 2017, something called the transformer architecture. This thing let AI figure out which words in a sentence were most important, giving it this grasp of context it just never had before. And that is what lit the fuse for the boom we're seeing right now in the 2020s when all this tech went from the lab straight to our laptops. And you really have to get this distinction because it's crucial. For years, most AI was basically a judge. Its whole job was to make a decision. Is this spam or not spam? Is that a cat or a dog? But generative AI, it's an artist. You don't ask it to judge reality, you ask it to create a new one. You give it a prompt and it just paints the picture. And this right here is one of the cleverest ideas that made all this possible, the Generative Adversarial Network, or GAN. Just think of it like a game between an art forger and a detective. The forger, that's the generator, paints a fake Picasso. Then the detective, the discriminator, tries to spot it. Now at first, the forger is terrible, and the detective catches the fake easily. But with every single round, the forger gets better at fooling the detective, and the detective gets sharper at spotting fakes. You let this go for millions of rounds, and eventually, the forger gets so good that its creations are completely indistinguishable from the real thing.
Okay, so we've built this incredibly powerful engine. What happens when you finally turn it on? Well, you get a creative explosion across every industry you can possibly imagine.
I mean, this technology is reshaping almost every single sector. It's designing new drugs in healthcare. It's generating code for software developers. It's composing music for artists. From automating boring financial reports to creating entire virtual worlds, the scale of its adoption is it's unprecedented.
To really feel the power here, just look at this simple text prompt. It was given to OpenAI's text-to-video model, Sora. That's it. 7 words. Just a simple description of a scene. And the result is absolutely breathtaking. A completely synthetic video that is almost impossible to tell from reality. The AI didn't just follow instructions, it understood the idea of a river in Borneo, and it created every ripple, every leaf, every animal completely from scratch. This isn't just animation, folks. It's like digital alchemy. The creative potential is just staggering. It really spans every form of digital media we can think of. We're talking text, audio, images, video, even 3D models for video games. We've basically built a universal content creation machine.
But, and this is a huge but, this incredible power is a double-edged sword. The risks are just as massive as the rewards. This isn't just about making cool pictures anymore. This is about fundamentally reshaping our society. What's really fascinating is seeing how differently the world is reacting to all this. I mean, look at this data. Optimism about AI's impact is way higher in the Asia-Pacific region than it is in the West. This cultural divide, maybe driven by different takes on tech and regulation, is already shaping who's going to lead this new era. And listen, this is not some theoretical problem for the future. The economic disruption is happening right now. In China's video game industry, the switch to image generation AI led to an estimated 70% loss of jobs for illustrators. And this exact fear, the fear of being replaced, was a central issue in the 2023 Hollywood writers and actors strikes. You know, at the very heart of this revolution is a massive legal war. To learn what they do, these AI models swallow up a huge chunk of the internet, and that includes billions of copyrighted images and articles. AI companies say, hey, this is fair use, it's essential for progress. But the creators, everyone from artists to the New York Times, they're calling it the largest intellectual property theft in history because the tools trained on their work are now being used to replace them. The list of potential harms is long, and it's deeply worrying. You've got the threat to our information, with deepfakes and disinformation ready to poison our news and our elections. You've got the threat to our values, as these models amplify all the biases from their training data. And then there's the threat to the internet itself, which is getting flooded with low-quality AI slop, burying real human content. And all of this is powered by these energy-hungry data centers with a massive environmental footprint. So the big question is, how do you regulate a technology that's evolving faster than the law can even be written? Well, governments all over the world are scrambling to respond, but they are taking wildly different paths. The US is kind of relying on voluntary agreements with tech companies. The EU, in sharp contrast, passed the Big AI Act, which puts strict rules on transparency. And then you have China, which is charting its own course, enforcing things like watermarking, while also demanding that all AI content aligns with state values. One of the key technical solutions everyone's looking at is detection. Digital watermarking is all about embedding an invisible signature into AI content. Now, it wouldn't stop someone from creating deepfakes or spam, but it could give us a really crucial tool to identify them, a way to sort the human from the machine in what's becoming an increasingly synthetic world. And all of this brings us to the ultimate question. The technology can now create almost anything. We know that. But it can also deceive, displace, and divide on a scale we have never seen before. The code is written, the machines are running. The hard part? Well, that's just beginning. And the question of who gets to decide what it should and shouldn't do, and by what values, that's the story of our time.